today is a great day to head to New Bern Sporting Goods, 3721 Trent Road in New Bern. They've got all of your athletic equipment needs no matter what sport you play. Yes, the screen printing is unbelievable. The embroidery as well, unbelievable. Trophies, so much more. Go see Scott. Tell him we sent you 252. All of 252. Bring all your sporting goods needs to New Bern Sporting Goods. NBSports.net is their website. Great folks. Now, time to head to those phone lines.
We got a phone call.
Yay!
Magical bacon in the house.
It's Jordan Honeycutt, Sun Journal sports writer. Jordan, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? I'm doing all right, man. Just letting y'all know if I sound a little different. I'm on the back end of some kind of chest congestion deal, so I'm just in the process of whipping that and getting over that. So other than that, I'm doing really good.
What kind of medicine are you taking? Are you like a cough syrup guy? Are you more of a pill form kind of guy?
I usually just take over-the-counter stuff and beat this stuff on my own, but I couldn't get my fever to completely go away, so I went to the doctor and got an old reliable Z-Pack antibiotic. So
Nice.
I'm just hammering that right now.
That's the move.
I mean, the one good thing about that is, for the most part, man, when you I'm with you. I go completely like over the counter and do things myself. Most, like 99% of every time something gets sick, get hurt. But man, when you go to the doctor and say what you want, I'd say 99.9% of the time they can get it right. And so even when you're sick, man, it's good to know. And that Z-Back stuff, man, it's good stuff.
Yep. My mom kind of pushed me to go to
Z-Pack,
the doctor
not
because I'm
Z-Back.
like,
Yeah, whatever.
It's good stuff, though.
I don't usually go to the doctor unless I feel like I'm on death's doorstep. But my mom kind of pushed me that way. So, but I'm glad I did because I'm feeling better and hopefully put this behind completely here in a couple of days.
That is good to hear. And just in time for the NBA draft, right?
Yep. Excited about that tonight. Really looking forward to it for a lot of reasons. But yeah, man, gonna get some work done here at the Sun Journal today, and then probably crack a cold Pepsi and some kind of snack and watch the NBA draft.
So let's start with, from your fandom standpoint, the LA Lakers. Not a lot to choose from in this draft, right? They've got one pick or something in the first round?
Number 25 overall, Jordan. That's what you're stuck with.
Yeah, one pick in the first and two. We traded with Philadelphia to pick up another second. We got two in the second.
Oh, when did that happen? Just this morning?
Last night, I believe.
Okay, sweet. You got 2 second-round picks, so you got nothing other than the first round.
1-1 and 2-2s is what we're looking at. So yeah.
So is there a Draymond Green in there for the Lakers to steal? There in the second round or late in the first round?
I hope so. I mean, we took Kuzma at like 25 or 26 last year, so I'm hoping we can maybe like find another good player like that who can come contribute and not just be some dude who is sitting in the G League or sitting on the bench. I just want somebody that can contribute. I don't care if he scores 8 points a game. That's fine. Just give me somebody who can help the team.
Now, we have been putting together this mock draft throughout the whole entire day today. We've been making it a group effort, and we've been reserving this Lakers pick for you. So down at number 25, I want you to give me maybe a couple of guys that you sort of have your eye on that you think is present some real value for the Lakers there, but ultimately help us out, make our selection for the Lakers in our mock draft.
I'd love to see Zaire Smith from Texas Tech fall that far.
Athlete.
I don't believe he's going to. A lot of people think the Lakers are high on Mitchell Robinson, the kid who skipped high school, was going to go to Western Kentucky, skipped college. Was going to go to Western Kentucky, but just decided to play overseas a year and then turn pro. Jerome Robinson's a guy I'd like to see still be there for the Lakers to take. Just want somebody who can score, and like I said, somebody who can contribute. And if we end up pulling some kind of deal to get LeBron and Paul George, that's not going to be enough by itself. We're going to have a bench. So we need to increase that depth of guys that can actually play. So I'd be happy with if Smith falls there, that'd be the perfect scenario. But I'd be happy with like a Robinson or Jerome Robinson or another guard like that could put it in the bucket.
But give me a 100% concrete prediction. I'm going to write it down, and if you're wrong, we might not have you on the show for the next 2 weeks.
It's not true.
Well, we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks. But who do you got? Number 25, the Lakers go with, boom.
I'll go with Jerome Robinson.
Jerome Robinson. Man.
Let me ask you this.
Fall that far.
When the second round rolls around, you got those 2 picks. How excited would you be to kind of double homer it up to hear Grayson Allen, Los Angeles Lakers?
I'd like it. I mean, I think he can score the ball, and I think he's going to be he's going to work hard. I wouldn't mind taking him, and I'd like to have Devontae Graham out of that second round because I think he's a competitor. I think he could be a good backup point guard to Lonzo. There's value in the second round of this draft. I really do feel that. It's just a matter of taking the guy Shake Milton from SMU. A lot of ECU fans are going to know that name. He's very talented. I'd love to see the Lakers kind of pick him in the second round. There's some guys I'll have my eye on.
So I guess, since we're keeping it within the state here, the only other guy who really jumps off the page to me as the only potential to be drafted tonight from our, Big Four schools is Trayvon Duval. What do you think about Trayvon Duval's prospects
aside
tonight?
From Bagley, right?
Well, yeah. Aside from Bagley, he doesn't count. But so outside of Duval and Allen, do you see anybody from UNC? In NC State, I don't think. Al Freeman's the only guy who's really tossed his name into the ring, and he's not going anywhere. So is Duval pretty much it for our in-state schools?
I think the 5 Duke guys, Allen, Duval, Bagley, Carter, and Grant.
I forgot about Carter. Yeah, good call.
I think all 5 of those guys will get picked. I don't think Wake Forest has anybody. I don't think Joe Barry has an outside shot at getting picked in the second round, I think, but I'm not willing to go and say, yeah, he will. Jerome Robinson obviously has North Carolina ties, so being from Raleigh, he'll get picked. Al Freeman's got to get, he can score. That's one thing. I think he's going to have to make a team. I think he's going to go undrafted and have to prove himself and make a team and start in the G League or something. But, he's a good player. But, yeah, I'd say the 5 Duke guys and Jerome Robinson will be your North Carolina ties representative there.
If you're the Charlotte Hornets, they yesterday traded Dwight Howard for Timofey Mozgov, and we were talking I figured that should be the first sort of move in maybe a series of moves. Maybe you get rid of Kemba Walker. What do you do? Would you continue that thought or that process of maybe trying to shop Kemba Walker elsewhere? Maybe move up in the draft, use Kemba as a piece. And I guess with that 11th pick, they've just been historically bad. It feels like they've been picking around that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for the last few years. And let's face it, those names have been, terrible, the Noah Vonleys of the world.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and taking guys like Noah Vonleh and, Frank Kaminsky's turned into be a pretty decent, he's a serviceable player. But I still think they could have gotten better players at that time.
Yes.
It's the albatross that's always going to hang over Michael Jordan's head until he fixes it, and that's the fact that the dude does not draft well. He's not a good GM and not a good owner. Now he's handed that off to Mitch Kupchak, who does have a history of drafting pretty well. I'm really interested to see what Charlotte does this year. I'm really there's going to be some good players around that number. I think Kevin Knox from Kentucky might be available. Maybe Wendell Carter slides. I don't think so, but maybe. Somebody's going to slide. And, so there's going to be a good player, I think, available there. I don't think they need to move Kemba. Now you've moved Dwight Howard. Kemba's the face of the franchise. He's the one all-star caliber player you've got. If you let him go, you just signaling the white flag saying we're in full-blown rebuilding mode.
Isn't that the move, though? Isn't that exactly what Charlotte should be doing right now?
Because I don't think they're a couple of pieces away from being contenders. That's kind of my problem with the whole thing. I don't see where they can make a move or two. Unless somehow they land, Giannis Antetokounmpo in this draft,
Right.
some guy we're not seeing. I don't see them being a contender anytime in the near future.
They're so burdened with bad contracts and heavy contracts that they're not going to be able to dump off all at once. So, Jordan, I'm kind of on the complete opposite side of the fence when it comes to the Kemba thing. I would like to see Kemba moved by the draft tonight, and I don't know if that necessarily means that that means the Hornets slide up in this year's draft, or if they maybe try to slide up for something into next year's draft. But I really think the move is to get rid of Kemba Walker right away and maybe find your piece for the future now. And sitting at 11, you mentioned Kevin Knox. I like that pick for the Charlotte Hornets. The guy I would love to see fall that far, I don't think it's going to happen, is Michael Porter Jr., just because it seems like more teams are starting to not so much worry about the medical concern with Michael Porter Jr., but I don't think Knox is going to fall that far. I don't think Wendell Carter, as you mentioned, is going to fall that far. The guy who I do think is going to fall that far, who could be an immediate replacement for Kemba Walker, is Colin Sexton out of Alabama. Would you be happy? Would you accept that from the Charlotte Hornets if, say, they got rid of Kemba tonight, and let's say they picked up a first-rounder for the next 2 seasons, and then they drafted Colin Sexton tonight as the point guard moving forward? Was that something that would keep you satisfied and maybe interested to tune into the Hornets games and see them actually having a future?
I don't know, man. I like the idea of Kemba being Mr. Hornet. I mean, that's what he's been. You need that. Excuse me. You need that guy. I see what you're saying about Sexton. He would be a good pick. I think Charlotte is hoping that Malik Monk continues to develop and becomes a better player.
I hate Malik
and
Monk.
I think he will develop and become a better player. But you're probably gonna dump Mozgov's contract. That's probably just you're probably just gonna waive him. And you
can't do that though. You really can't dump Mozgov's contract because you owe him over $40 million for the next 2 years. You can't be on the hook for that kind of dead money.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
what I was saying. It's a bad if you don't get rid of Kemba, the move to get rid of Dwight Howard for Mozgov was just a bad idea because both of them were bad money, and I get getting rid of Dwight Howard. I'm not a Dwight Howard guy, but I mean,
no, I'm not.
It seems to signify that there's something else in the works.
Yes, and but if I'm gonna have bodies on the court, I'm playing Dwight Howard before I'm playing Mozgov, and certainly, like I said, And so I just don't know where the future is. Like I said, especially it'd be one thing if Mozgov was in his final year and you're just going to eat 1 year, but they're not going to eat 2 years. Is kind of what we're saying. So that to me, if they keep Kemba, I'm puzzled by the move of Mozgov.
Well, I think maybe I might if I was GM, if I was Kupchak, I'd try to trade Mozgov for a second round pick and just load up on picks for Dwight Howard. And just because, I mean, like you said, what good is Timothy Mozgov going to do you? He's not going to do you any good at all, other than just be a 7-foot starting center.
4 fouls, 5 fouls, 6 fouls, whatever it is.
Body out there with six possible fouls, maybe 5 to 10 rebounds, but he ain't going to score. You got Cody Zeller, you got Kaminsky, you've got some tall guys. You don't need his height necessarily.
Yeah, Jordan
loves
white centers, man.
Not Jordan Honeycutt, Jordan Michael.
Michael Jordan loves white centers.
Yeah, he does.
I didn't even factor in that it was a white center until you started naming off those names. And I was like, God, you're right. They've got enough white guys who can take 5-6 fouls.
They just got rid of a Plumlee like 2 years ago. Enough.
You would think, but yeah, I mean, the only way I deal Kemba is if I get a top 5 pick in return. Like if I package Kemba and the pick they've got now at 11, and move up to like top 3 or top 5, so I can get one of those franchise-changing guys like Bagley or Ayton or Bamba or one of those guys, then yeah, okay, I get it. But other than that, no, I'm not dealing. A guy who's been so great to Charlotte and who's got a lot of years left. I'm not letting him go for nothing.
Well, let me ask you as a friend, okay?
Let me ask you.
Because the truth is, I'm hearing all these things about the Boston Celtics trying to trade Jaylen Brown to move up to maybe take Mo Bamba. I just don't like it. And my biggest problem is, listen, I like prospects. I think they're great. But until I actually see them in the NBA, I've seen Jaylen Brown in the NBA. I don't want to trade somebody who I know is going to contribute for the chance that a guy could potentially be. If you're Boston, do you make a move and get rid of one of these young pieces to move up in this draft?
I've said it ever since the season ended. If I'm Boston, I don't do a damn thing other than get my guys healthy. I mean, I want to see what my team can do with Kyrie and Hayward and these guys. You know, if those guys are healthy and you still lose, then maybe you make some changes. But, I mean, as good as they did last year without those two guys, two all-star caliber players, you're not going to, wait and see what you get when your team is healthy instead of trying to make moves now. And, I mean, if I was Danny Ainge, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown would be untouchable. I'm not trading those guys. So I agree with what you're saying. No, I mean, that would not be a good move in my opinion.
I believe in what you're saying. I would not touch anything.
Jordan, as we're looking at, Mark and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but when we look at the top of the draft this year, there are so many big men who are going to be going in the first 6 or 7 picks. When you think about guys like DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson, Marvin Bagley, Mohamed Bamba, Wendell Carter. I mean, it's just a really tall early part of the draft this year, and it seems to be going against the trend of the NBA over the last several seasons. Are you surprised that teams seem to be favoring the big man this year?
No, because, I mean, like you said, that's what this draft's about. There's a premium on guards in this draft because there's not a whole lot of them that are going to go at the top. I think there's a lot of good guards that you can have, like I mentioned, Devontae Graham and Milton and Jerome Robinson. There's a lot of good guards you can get later in the draft at value. But the top of the draft is all about the bigs, but they're active, agile bigs. They're not big, clumsy, space eaters. They're guys like Bagley who can run the floor and jump. They're guys like, Jaren Jackson who can run the floor and stretch from three, and Ayton can do a little bit of everything. Carter can do a little bit of everything. I mean, they're guys. They're today's big men. They're not, big men from the 80s. So I think I think a lot of them are going to fit in, and a lot of them are going to help whatever teams they go to. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them are going to bad teams. So how much they're helping, unless they just completely turn it around, is going to be kind of hard to measure. But, I think I would be okay with picking almost any of them. I like it back. Obviously, I love Bagley. I like Ayton. I like Bamba. I like Jaren Jackson's young. He's going to have to let him grow into himself a little bit. Miles Bridges is a guy nobody's talking about, and I would love to have him. That's another guy I would love to see fall to Charlotte, and Charlotte be smart enough to take him because he can score the ball. He's a fierce competitor. He's not going to be scared of anybody in the NBA. Just you get a chance to get a guy like that, man. I'd jump all over it.
Can Bonzi Colson be the next Draymond Green?
I wouldn't go that far, but I think Bonzi can help a team. I don't think he's going to be some, just a bench taker upper there, bench spot eater there. I think he's going to be able to. He's
got the belly to be a bench eater.
Yeah. He's going to be able to help a team, I think, if he goes to the right situation and they give him a chance.
Oh, he's JP Tokoto. Don't be like that. All right. Pick up a copy of the Bern Sun Journal, newbernsj.com/sports. Follow Jordan on Twitter, @Honeycutt_NBSJ. What you got rolling on? I know you were going through a lot of the year-end all-area spring sports, softball, baseball, soccer. Are you done with all those? Is it time to start moving forward?
No, I got all area softball running in tomorrow's paper. Gonna
Nice.
have the team picture of the ladies in there, and then probably gonna work on soccer next week, get that knocked out, and then obviously start working on the football preview. Try to attack that early so I don't get that takes a lot of work every year and to put that together. So gotta go around and
I
some of the football before the season gets here.
I was going to just say I wanted to throw in Madison Gaskins, all-area soccer player of the year for 252 ESPN Radio. We don't have a plaque or a trophy, but I just wanted to throw that vote out there.
Right.
So
she's got our vote.
So, man, always good to talk to you. I know you're going to enjoy the draft tonight, and as we do, it's fantastic. I do think the NBA having it right after the season is a fantastic thing, and I know what you're really waiting for, man. You're waiting for free agency period because that's when the Lakers are going to do their moves, man. You know it. Paul Pierce, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James.
Kawhi Leonard's going to the Clippers, Jordan. Sorry. Going to the real LA team.
If Kawhi Leonard has already said he's coming to us anyway, let him go for a year and let the Spurs overpay for him, or let him sit out and keep our young talent, because if we have to trade for Kawhi Leonard, they're going to want at least 3 of our young talent. Ingram, Ball, Kuzma, Julius. We're going to lose Julius Randle to free agency because if we sign George and LeBron, we're not going to be able to pay him what he wants. So
that's why he's going to the Clippers, man. They're going to give him their 2 first-rounders tonight.
Let me ask you this: Kawhi, do you want to wait? Kawhi, do you want to put off another year? These young guys, how many games have they won for you the last few years? I guarantee you, man, you get those big 3 guys in there, and you can fill it in with the Mike Millers and the Shane Battiers. I've seen it done before. You get those big 3 in, it changes everything.
I'm just big on young talent, man. Those guys showed a lot of potential.
You named 2 guys that are retired.
I was using the Miami Heat reference. I mean, it doesn't matter. I was saying you can find the Mike Millers and the Shane Battiers.
Kuzma was almost an all-star, He put up great numbers. Lonzo came on late. He was struggled early, but came on late a little bit. I think Brandon Ingram's still going to be a really good player. He's got some growing to do still, but he's going to be really good. I hate losing our young talent. I hate losing Julius Randle. It turns my stomach a little bit. I hate losing these young guys who I feel like I know are going to be good players.
Like D'Angelo Russell.
Well, yeah, I kind of didn't believe in him the way I do these guys. I kind of thought, he never really developed. He never got better. But I think all these guys are showing as it goes on, they're getting better. And, that's all you want to see.
All right, that's enough. Nobody cares about the Lakers as much as you do.
One day, man. One day, hopefully, it'll be back to the ways you remember it. But listen, great to talk to you. I know it's going to be 3 weeks from today, at the very minimum, when we talk to you next. So we'll enjoy our vacation, and we look forward to talking to you when we get back.
All right, man. Sounds good.
We need to take a break, folks. Don't go anywhere.